As we trace the history of the soul, we find that there was a moment in our eternity with the Father when some souls demanded, asked for, and received the gift of free will. A free will apart from and separate from God's will, to experiment, to go out and apply their own conscience and consciousness to the creation of life. This demand for free will was given, and therefore souls were given a limited habitation, limited spheres of occupation. As in the application of free will, they erred from the extolling, the glorifying of the light. They came into denser and denser consciousness, vibration, and finally physical bodies. Along the way, they were traduced by fallen angels, rebellious spirits who were cast out of heaven into the earth, of whom Enoch speaks to us. So we find that the condition of free will and the soul's loss of her memory of her first estate and her divine being placed her in such jeopardy that where we find this teaching applying is that the Father sent forth the divine nature, even the image of Christ. As it is written that he so loved the world that he sent that image of his only begotten Son, that through that Son and that Christ presence we might be restored. And that light and that image that was sent after us, after long eons of experimenting with a certain futility and failure with free will, that became the ransom from the dead consciousness that we had fallen into. That became the light, the reigniting of the flame of the heart. But that Christ image had to be translated to us in form and in flesh. So John says, and we beheld his glory as of the only begotten Son of God, full of grace and truth. Even when God sent to us that image, we could not know how that image should affect us or how we should relate to it in life. We needed the profiles of the Christed ones, the anointed ones. Jesus Christ is that profile, that God-man, that avatar of the Piscean age. But humanity and the children of the Son have been lost far longer than 2,000 years. And these incarnations have appeared again and again in many forms, always, always, and always, with the mien and countenance, whether of the Divine Mother out of the East, such as the Kuan Yin, whether out of Lao Tzu or Confucius, or the great ancient ones who have translated the light of Sanat Kumara. They have always related to a particular time and a people with a particular message of salvation, a responsibility, a duty, a dharma that they had to fulfill by that Christ Spirit and by that flame to be restored to that place where once again they could have that inner walk. The gift of Jesus that he brings to us in the ritual of Holy Communion is the reigniting of the divine spark. In some, that spark had actually gone out, for they gave no devotion to it. And therefore, the engrafted word is one of the great mysteries that come to us as Jesus restores his lost teaching, the engrafting, the returning of that divine spark. There are many in the world today in whom that divine spark has gone out, and not because of rebellion or betrayal as the fallen angels, but because they have left off for so very long from the service of the light that the light was self-extinguished. I see such ones coming through my classes and retreats, and I know them, and they desire with all their hearts to receive God. And day by day there does come upon them that engrafting of the word and that transfer back again of the reigniting of the inner flame. Those who have that flame are fiery spirits in our midst. those who have expanded and balanced that flame even more intense. And they must keep the flame of community and cities and nations for others who follow whatever religions they are into, who use the science of mantra, all because they are approaching that inner God flame and that moment of the breathing upon them once again by the Holy Spirit that fans that inner fire. It is a quickening grace that we all seek. For even though we may have a flame, that flame must increase mightily, for it is God's consciousness that is able to save all sentient life.